Well, former President Jacob Zuma's jailing for defying a court order has been hailed as a win for the rule of law. It's the first time a former president has been jailed in post-apartheid South Africa. Well, let's speak about the significance of this moment. We're joined by the former Director General in the Presidency and ANC veteran, Reverend Frank Chikane. Reverend Chikane, good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. You've had a bit of time to mull over this moment, and I imagine lots of conversations taking place between yourself and some of your comrades. Take us into your confidence. What are those conversations saying right now? What are the reflections that you're having?
Well, I can only speak from the point of view of the Defend Our Democracy campaign. I wouldn't be able to speak about the ANC conversations because I'm not in the leadership there. But let me just say that there's been lots of exchanges of views since yesterday night up to today. And everybody agrees that, I mean, this is a historical moment in the life of the country. The courts and the constitution have stood the test of the time. And I've said that we thank the former president for deciding to hand himself to the authorities rather than resist and result in deaths of people. I think we need to thank him for doing that. But the point is that this last 2 weeks shows that it doesn't matter who you are. You have to comply with the law and work within the law, and that there's nobody who is above the law. I think that's the point that has been made. So poor people shouldn't have a different type of justice system than rich people, or those who have no power will have a different justice system than those who have power. Unfortunately, I mean, the former president had to go to jail. I wish that it didn't have to come to this stage. But unfortunately, I think you either made wrong decisions or was advised wrongly by people who were around him, or the lawyers might have, as he says, advised him wrongly. But you just don't stand up in a court or in a commission and walk away. Nobody should do that. And I think everybody has learned a lesson that you can't do that.
Reverend Chikane, it's been clear from the onset that the manner in which this matter is handled is of utmost importance, and that there must be a sense throughout the entire process that there is no violation of the rights that the former president enjoys. Of course, tonight, we're dealing with a situation where we have these images that have been distributed by correctional services officials, at least that's part of what their own admission says, of him being processed within the prison walls last night. Your views on the fact that something like that could even be allowed to happen?
No, ma'am. The position of the Defend Our Democracy is that we should not allow this country to descend into lawlessness. It doesn't matter who does it, whether it's the police or the correctional services or authorities, or it is politicians and leaders. No one must work outside the law. I think there is this culture that people can do anything. I mean, even in terms of COVID regulations, that people can just go publicly and say, we're going to ignore these protocols, when in fact it is within our law. So it is unacceptable. When I saw them, I thought, I don't know how this could happen, because it was just the correctional services people who were there. And now it's coming out that it leaked from amongst themselves, and I think whoever did it must also face the might of the law.
Let's talk about, the processes and the ways in which police actually affect their jobs. You've talked about the gatherings that we've been seeing, some of which are illegal under the lockdown level 4 restrictions. This afternoon, we also had the suspended spokesperson of the MKMVA, Carl Niehaus, being arrested live on television. We are aware that this case represents what is an intersection of the political and the legal, and there's so many other issues that have been weaved into this moment. What does that mean for the way in which law officials execute their duties under this moment, and I suppose to some extent to not be seen to be targeting or even inflating the situation?
Well, you know, I said in the Defend Our Democracy rally last Saturday that, you know, we plead with the people who are at Nkandla not to, they've got the right to protest. The Constitution protects them to do so. They've got the right to support the former deputy president. It's their democratic right. But no one should do it outside the law, because if you do it outside the law, you're going to also have to be arrested. You're going to have to go to jail. So I don't think people did not know what they were doing. Maybe some of the ordinary people who ended up joining the crowd may not have understood it, but the leaders who organized it know exactly what that story was about. And I mean, the manner in which the police arrest people, that's a different matter. I wouldn't know the circumstances. But indeed, the nation is saying you can't expect ordinary people to be arrested in a street for violating the pandemic protocols and let the leaders violate the protocols in public and nothing happens to them. I think that's really the issue. So for me, it's more about stopping lawlessness in this country, that nobody should think that they will go for political reasons or any other reasons, violate the law and expect not to be arrested.
In the same breath, though, the state must also be seen as a just player, that we cannot have an inconsistent application of the rule of law as police see fit in a moment and in ways that seems to be inexplicable.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm saying I can't judge what happened between the police and Carl Niehaus. I saw it on TV, and so I'm not able to judge. But what I'm saying is that the law must apply equally. I mean, the police were saying they did not intervene during the weekend because they didn't want a bloodbath there, and I'm sure they were right, because if they intervened, there would have been violence. And they said they're going to arrest people after. The question is where they arrest them and how they arrest them. I don't know. But the key issue is that we must learn the lesson that you don't openly break the law and expect that you will not be made to account for what you are doing. And the police have got a difficult task. I mean, they have to arrest people. But how they do it, where they find them, I think it's in their hands.
ANC veteran Reverend Frank Chikane, thanks for coming on. Those are his views. They do stay with us. When we continue, we'll take you